Hello, today I'm excited to introduce Hexa TestGen AI, a next generation QA platform that automates the entire journey from requirements to user stories and test cases. Let's start with the challenge. In large enterprises, test case authoring is consistently cited as one of the biggest QA bottlenecks. Teams often juggle thousands of requirements and user stories per release, which translates into hundreds or even thousands of test cases. According to industry research, up to 80% of QA time is spent on test design and maintenance. The result? Manual test case creation is slow, inconsistent, and simply can't keep up with the pace of change, leading to missing coverage, delayed releases, higher cost, and greater risk of production defects. Hexa TestGen AI directly addresses this pain. Our tool uses AI to automatically transform requirements into user stories, detailed test cases, supporting formats like generic, Gherkin BDD. When requirements change, test cases are instantly updated, ensuring traceability and comprehensive coverage. Instead of spending hours writing or updating test cases, testers can now focus on reviewing and refining, letting the AI handle repetitive work. The platform supports all major test types: functional, UI UX, performance, and accessibility, and even offers seamless export to Jira for our preferred test management tool. In terms of software development lifecycle, Hexa TestGen AI fits right at the requirements analysis and test planning stages, converting inputs into actionable test assets early. It continues to add value throughout QA and regression, keeping suits up to date in agile and CI/CD workflows. And with change management, any requirement update is instantly reflected in your test assets, minimizing manual rework. The business impact is substantial. For large enterprises, we predict over 315 hours saved per release, which translates into more than $15,000 in direct savings at typical QA rates. There's a 49% reduction in missing requirements and test gaps, and overall test authoring effects drops by more than half. This means faster releases, higher production quality, and full audit traceability compliance. Let's go and see the tool in action. So this is the tool that we have. We have option of dashboard. You can view existing projects or go to the settings and have your own OpenAI API keys inputted as well. Let's look into this, right? So we'll create a new project, provide project name, like e-commerce platform, project description, some project key, and we create the project. So once we have the project, we can add the first requirement for this particular project. Let's add the requirements. So let's start with, say, user authentication system. It's a critical requirement. Some description for this requirement. Let's add some description that the system will provide secure user authentication capabilities, including registration, login, password management, and session handling. And ultimately, the entire requirements. So this is the detailed requirements. You can also upload your text doc or PDF files here directly. Let's create the requirement. You see the requirement has been created. So right now there are no user stories as such with this requirement, no test cases. But what we have to do is simply go to the requirement that has been added and click generate stories. This will take a little time and start generating the stories. You see the stories are very detailed. You have a story title, epic, the acceptance criteria, and the tags that this is for registration, email insecurity, authentication, security and session management, password security reset. So we can save all these 8 stories that we want. You see now all the stories have been saved, and we'll start generating the test cases. For example, let's generate as a new user, I want to register an account so that I can access the system, the basic test cases for it. We go to the story, we click generate tests. So start generating the test cases. You see it has generated the test cases. Let's see how detailed this test case is. If we click on the drop down, it has a title. It has preconditions, the test steps, expected results, test data, dependency, notes, and estimated time. So this is how all the test cases would be there. Let's save the selected tests. So we have generated for one user story. Let's also generate for another one that I want to log in. Again, it has generated about 10 cases. Let's save these cases. We have 8 user stories, 19 test cases that we have right now. Okay, so we can view all the test cases hierarchically in form of user stories, linked properly with full details for each and every test out there. So there's an option to export to Jira as well. So what it does is when you click this, it downloads a CSV file, a timestamped CSV file for you. And when you click Next over here tells you that you have to access the CSV, go to Jira, go to issues and import issues from CSV and directly map the test cases in Jira. There's a link to Jira docs as well, which explains how to import data from a CSV file. Goes to the Atlassian support. Okay, so this would be a standard CSV which was downloaded. We can see that in our downloads. So issue type, summary, description, priority, status, test type, test steps, write till components, labels, estimated time, test data, all the details which can easily be mapped to the test cases in Jira or any other test case management tool that you're using. Okay, so let's move ahead. One very important thing in any such system is change request. So there are always change requests that keep coming in, which impacts the QA process and the existing test cases throughout. So let's see how we have handled this. So we have a create change request button here. We'll provide the title of the change request. For example, I want to do a social sign up and sign in using Google and Apple. Some description. Let's add some description which says add sign up and sign in with Apple and Google authentication as additional way instead of having only email based registration and sign in. And reason for change, that social sign in using Google and Apple are gaining popularity. People don't want to remember multiple accounts and passwords that they have. Let's click create change request and see what happens. So what it is doing right now is it is analyzing all the user stories and test cases that are out there and creating additional CR based stories which would be specifically for this change request and modifying the test cases that are out there for the cases which are impacted. Let's see that as well. You see the user stories have increased. We go into user stories. There are 3 more user stories that have been added with CR tag. These are for CR. As a new user, I want to sign up using my Google account. I want to sign in using Apple account. And I want option to link my Google and Apple accounts to my existing profile as well. So all these 3 CRs have been added. Let's see if there were any changes made in the test cases as well. So for registration test cases, it says updated via CR, valid user registration and email test case. This was updated via CR. See that a new step has been added. Verify social sign-up options are available but not used. There is a CR impact clearly mentioned. Similarly, during login, there would be multiple impacted test cases in CR, right? So we see that these are out there. The CR impact, social sign-on options are available, CR impact is there. So these are all existing test cases which are impacted by a CR. Similarly, successful login with email and password, it says ensure social sign-on options are available but not used. Why is it saying not used? Because we have just updated existing tests, but there are new user stories as well for CR with which we can create or generate the tests as well. So we can generate the tests for these user stories as well. Moving on, so there is an additional feature that we have provided in our requirements is a CR impact analysis. With this feature, think about it in terms of I'm trying to think of a change request. I don't want to do that change request, but I want to see what it will impact my system in. For example, say a title saying that we want to remove password in email sign in and have OTP based sign in. So description, password field will be removed for email sign in and we will send OTP to registered users valid for 10 minutes. More secure path. We'll run the impact analysis for this change that I'm thinking right now as a product manager. How many test cases in the system or how many areas in the system will be impacted. So it is saying there are 19 tests. Out of 19, 10 test cases would be impacted, 9 would remain unaffected, and there's a 53% impacted. So accessibility, compliance of login page, performance testing, suggested changes, what all would change, user experience on login failure, login page UI elements, that there's no new OTP input field, login and failed attempts. So some successful login by email and password. So we have this one that would be advised that valid discussion to use OTP instead of password. So it is giving the exact areas wherein this change would impact. Again, we have a dashboard which shows all the user stories, requirements, test cases, details available, the projects page wherein all the projects would be there, and individual settings out there. In default settings, you can actually go ahead and change that. I don't want generic, but I want a behavior-driven development type test cases. So Kirkin BDD style test cases would be generated for you. moving back to our presentation, so you see that the wow factor with this tool is that whenever you update the requirement, you instantly see most test cases refresh. If we consider the before and after for it, for this tool, so earlier we used to have manual test cases created, but now it's automated AI-driven generation for the test cases and user stories, wherein earlier we used to frequent the scenarios are missed, gaps are there, inconsistent coverage, while right now using AI there is consistent comprehensive coverage, ensuring all requirements are reflected in tests. Earlier updates were tedious when the requirements change and high maintenance effort, but now with this functionality, we can instantly see and map where the requirements are actually updating the test cases. So from slow test planning to delayed releases, rapid test case creation accelerates QA cycle and time to market for us now.